There you are.
Oh, fucking hell. Talent company again? Damn it, there's swingers around here too. All over DC. Oh, hey, Brian, you want to go to the comic book store?
Hubris Comics Publishing, publishing quality prints at quality prices. Air conditioning controls, system inoperative. Release schedule. Hubris Comics Summer 2077 schedule, a glorious summer for Hubris and America. June, Captain Cosmos, Truth, Justice, and the Space American Way. Kid, wacky, zany hijinks. Grognak the Barbarian, Revenge of the Mansaurian. Tales from the Front, Alaska Unbowed. July, Grognak's Salute to the Troops. Tales from the Front, Liberated Canada. Captain Cosmos, Invasion of the Black Planet. Drake, Tungsten, Chrono Cowboy. August, Tales from the Front, The Red Terror. Underground Life, Vault Boy Special. Grognak the Barbarian, An Axe for All Ages. Captain Cosmos, The Radioactive Spacemen from Space.
Fucking hell, half of these are propaganda and half of these are just dumb. But, I mean, I guess as a kid I would have read all of them.
Letters to the Editor. Requiem for an Antagonist. Grognak the Barbarian is an excellent comic for many reasons, but one of the most widely respected ones is the death of its villains. From the cold-blooded manipulations of the Mansaurian to the love-hate romance with Femme Ra, the stories of Grognak's enemies are every bit as fascinating as his own tales. But, for my money, no tale is more tragic and more fascinating than that of the Antagonizer. While never developed as fully as major villains like Skullpocalypse or Mastodonald, the portrait of the orphan girl raised by ants and instilled with a bitter hatred of humanity has tremendous potential for reader connection and possible redemption. However, in Grognak and the Ants of Agony, Mr. Neptura threw away all of that potential by simply treating the Antagonizer as a two-dimensional villain with a futile and pointless grudge against mankind. His writing replaced her subtle undertones of lost humanity and tragically lost innocence with the worst sort of mustache-twirling cliché dialogue. It was an offense to a deep and tragic character. How a hack like that continues to find work in comics is beyond my comprehension. Hubris Comics should fire him and return the series to the capable hands of Mr. Morales. Until that time, I refuse to buy another comic from what used to be my favorite publisher. Obsessed in Oakmont.
I don't know if you need to take it out on the editor, but that was a really interesting feminist reading of the Antagonizer character.
Fold! Humanity's creations were the seeds of their undoing. And now, the world will belong to the Antagonizer!
Wonder if that woman who dressed up as the Antagonizer would have anything to say about this.
Beta testing notice. Miss Grenier, beginning Monday, members of the Grognak's Little Heathens fan club will begin visiting the offices to participate in beta testing our Reign of Greylock software. Participants must fill out our participation agreement and should be directed to the testing station 15 minutes prior to their scheduled appointment time. Just follow the main hallway all the way to the end and go through the door on your right. From there, the beta testing area is just down the smaller hallway to your right. Rebecca, a personal note, some members of the fan club may be a little exuberant. We realize that you are not a babysitter and appreciate the extra trouble you'll be going to this week. This beta test is very important to getting our Hubris software venture off to a good start, so please do your best to keep things under control out front. You will be compensated at time and a half for the week as a token of our gratitude for your trouble.
Aw, that's nice that they were willing to compensate her extra for taking on extra duties.
Press release. For immediate release, Hubris Comics and Vault-Tec Incorporated unveiled Vault Boy Meets Chain Gang limited 5-part miniseries. The very best in invincible entertainment and impenetrable vaults team up to bring comic fans a gripping grimoire of greatness. From their headquarters in Washington, D.C., Hubris Comics announced today's plans to bring a beloved American icon into the Hubris Comics universe, none other than the beloved Vault Boy character. Vault Boy was the perfect choice for our new Chain Gang series, says Hubris Comics Chief of Publishing Peter Shiner, in which those valiant vigilantes take on Chairman Chang's commie cyborg court. After all, Vault Boy knows a thing or two about going up against that red menace. The Part 5 miniseries will feature an alternate future in which Chinese communists have invaded America. Vault Boy and Chain Gang are the last, best hope for America to break free from the shackles of communism in this cautionary tale of vigilance. It has always been Vault-Tec's mission to educate and protect our countrymen from the communist threat, commented Vault-Tec Public Relations Executive Joanne Strasser. This exciting project is a perfect opportunity to thrill young Americans while sending home an important message for us all. Every good American must help shoulder the burden of freedom and always be wary of the communist threat. The first issue of this miniseries will be available on newsstands everywhere this holiday season. About Hubris Comics. Hubris Comics, a branch of Hubris Publishing, headquartered in Washington, D.C., has been producing printed entertainment since 2021. Hubris Comics are known for such popular properties as Grognak the Barbarian, Chain Gang, and The Inspector.
Wait, I've read a lot of Hubris comics. Obviously, Grognak the Barbarian is the star of the show. You're telling me that Vault Boy is a canon character in this universe? Fuck you, Vault-Tec. Fuck you. And don't think I didn't notice that dumbass propaganda. Oh, this was that beta they were talking about.
Reign of Greylock, beta version 632.
Planes, look around.
You examine your surroundings. You are standing in a wide plain, foothills stretch to the north, where clouds gather around an ominous peak. A dirt path winds from a lonely chapel to the east, through the plains where you're standing, and south into a bustling town. Wispy mists gather over marshland in the west, where a thin tower stands alone in the bog.
Alright. Inventory.
Rusty sword. Your weapon. Rusty, but trusty. Drinking flask. A very small flask to carry water.
Go north. Look around.
You are on a craggy, wind-blasted face of a mountain. Storm clouds coil above the summit, pelting you and the sparse vegetation with torrential downpour. Far below, beyond the foothills, a wide plain stretches across the southern horizon. Greylock is here, spewing heresies. A glint between the rocks catches your eye.
Investigate glinting object.
You take a rough gemstone from the rocks.
Use sword on Greylock.
Your puny weapons are useless on Greylock.
Well, damn. Inventory. Raw gemstone.
This gemstone may be valuable.
Alright, go south. Go south. Look around.
You're standing in the dusty market square of a quiet town. Many of the shops and homes lie abandoned, and the citizens that can be seen speak in hushed voices, casting furtive glances at the darkened skyline in the distant north. The ringing of an anvil breaks the silence regularly, where a mustached blacksmith bends over his work in a nearby tent. The blacksmith is here, working. A priest is here, drinking.
Speak with the blacksmith.
Your eyes water from the smoke and smarmy heat inside the tent. The huge man swipes sweat from his bald head and looks up from his work. There's no shortage of work to be done with Greylock scaring everyone witless. Leave me to fill in my orders, stranger. With that, the blacksmith dismisses you from his tent and douses a hot blade in water, hissing with steam.
Well, damn. Okay, speak with the priest.
The priest notices you approach and looks up from his swilling. Greylock has come, and we are forsaken, he cries. Erp, he continues. As you recover from the stench of the priestly belch, you are told that the priest has fled from his nearby chapel. When Greylock arrived on the mountain, the dead in his cemetery began to rise, and his congregation scattered. If you could rid the place of the zombies, he tells you, I'll give you the key, and you can help yourself to the apothecary.
Alright, I guess we have a quest. Go north. Go east. Alright, here's the chapel. Look around.
You stand at the end of a dirt path, facing a small chapel. The stucco walls are faded, many roof tiles are missing. The great oaken doors are locked. The congregation is nowhere to be found. A small cemetery of crooked headstones lies in the shadow of the cracked steeple. The dirt path winds westward through a great, featureless plain. A zombie totters aimlessly nearby. There is an open grave nearby.
Alright, use my sword.
Your blow knocks the zombie into a grave.
Examine grave.
There is a deep, empty grave in the cemetery. Several bloated rats and a zombie corpse float in a foot of filthy water at the bottom. Don't fall in. A grotesque head is stuck on a root near the top of the grave. You bag the horrific trophy as proof of your deed.
Okay. Go west. Go west. So we're in the swamp. Alright, look around.
You are standing on a narrow stone path in a dark marsh. Greasy bubbles float to the top of the bog waters on either side and pop lazily, spattering your legs with muck and slime. A short stone tower squats here. No door is visible, and the stones are smooth and polished. A balcony juts out midway on the tower's face. The heady smells of incense mix with the nauseating stench of the swamp. The stone path unfurls eastward towards a broad plain beyond the marshes. A wizard is here, gesticulating wildly from his balcony.
Talk to the wizard.
Hoo-hoo! The Slayer of Greylock approaches, raw stone in hand, just as I've seen.
The wizard's pointy hat bobs excitedly as he points a finger at you. Suddenly, a pale orange arc of light extends from the knobby finger and draws the gemstone from your bag. Before you can react, the gemstone halts and hovers in the air before the wizard's nose. Essence be true, powers renew! Fatty who do? With that, he slaps the hovering stone, smashing it against the smooth stone of the tower. In a burst of light, the stone splits in two, and one lands in each outstretched palm of the hopping little wizard. Shard for the sword, wrap her in iron, and she'll find Greylock's black heart for you. Take the shaft too. You'll need payment for a smith to forge the weapon. He tosses the stones down, which you leap forward to catch safely.
Alright, I guess I've got payment for the blacksmith now. Go east. Go south. Speak with the priest.
The priest drunkenly curses the undead who have defiled this church. You present him with the decapitated head from your bag. Praise you, he hiccups. Perhaps Greylock's influence isn't so strong. With that, he turns his decanter over on the head and tosses into a fireplace, where it bursts into purple flame and burns up almost instantly. I must gather the faithful. He presses a brass key into your palm. Please help yourself to what little may be of use at my chapel.
Refined gemstone.
A brilliant faceted gemstone.
Magical shard.
The gem shard pulses with magical light.
Brass key.
A key given to you by the priest.
Oh, I forgot to check the head. Oh well. Speak with the blacksmith.
The blacksmith regards you gruffly and is about to dismiss you when you produce the polished gemstone from your bag. He sets his hammer aside and twirls his mustache. Right fine stone that is, he says, admiring the faceted stone. What would you be needing then? Following your careful instructions, the smithy reforges your rusty sword with the magical shard at the center of the blade.
Inventory. Magic sword.
An enchanted weapon to defeat Greylock.
Alright, cool. Go north. Go east. Look around. Examine chapel.
Dust motes hang lazily in the shafts of colored light stretching across the chapel from peaked windows. The pews, pulpit, and everything else are covered in a fine mist. There is a very deep stone cistern near the entrance. It is full to the brim with blessed water. There is more than enough water here to fill your tiny flask.
Go inventory. Drinking flask.
Your flask is full of blessed water.
Go west. Okay, I think we're ready. Go north. Use magical sword on Greylock.
When you draw your sword, Greylock lowers his great horned head and bellows laughter in your face. You grit your teeth and swing a mighty two-handed blow, the magical blade ringing clearly even amid the tumult of throaty cackling. You swing the sword so fiercely it escapes your grip and hurtles into the open maw of the monstrosity, lost from sight in the arid darkness of Greylock's throat. You step back as Greylock jerks his mouth shut and stands upright. He is still for a moment, then starts clawing at his neck. Muffled, a ringing can be heard, as if from a great distance. Suddenly, Greylock's chest bursts in a fountain of viscous green blood. The ringing can be heard clearly now, and as thick lifeblood oozes around the protruding tip of the magic sword, the storm clouds swirling the peak are already clearing. Greylock is defeated. The end. Thanks for playing.
Wait, this seems familiar.
Sean Starr presents Cybershock Alpha, beta version 0.21.
Oh wow, what is this? I never knew he made something like this. Sean, did you plagiarize Hubris comics? I mean, I already knew you plagiarized Robots 2500, but... well, whatever. Copyright doesn't really exist anymore. Fanfiction away.
Victory. Game over.
Not the best game I've ever played. Ooh, be careful. I think there's gas here. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I was not wrong.
If there are any Twinkies left. Did you see that?
I wish you would just hold your fire, Amanda. Holy
Whoa!
fuck, this gun is
Nice.
cool. Oh, fucking hell, what the pitching machines? This must have been some type of display area for all their comics. Ah, fuck, more goals. What? Who the fuck is this? Stop shooting me! Oh, a fucking turret too, really? Oh, and a glowing one, yay. Be careful, there's mines. I got them. Alright? Just don't step on them.
Hubris Comics Publishing Printing Press Terminal. Remember to make sure no one is near the press while operating. Turn on printing press. Warning, machine malfunctioning. Shut down printing press. Check manuscript. Grognak the Barbarian 361, loaded. Check ink levels. Red ink low. Check paper stock. Low grade pulp available.
Huh. Why was no one allowed to be near the printing press while it operated?
Diagnosis: Mr. Watson was admitted by some of his fellow employees of the Hubris Comics facility. Apparently one of the press machines malfunctioned and sprayed hot steam and caustic chemicals into his face and hands, causing severe burns and nerve damage.
Oh, right. I remember that person getting injured here, and I read the hospital record about it. It must have been dangerous here.
Hubris Comics Publishing. Publishing quality prints at quality prices. Air conditioning controls. System inoperative. Unlock foreman door.
Run away before it is too late. Another pitching machine. What the fuck? What the fuck is that? Yeah, I'm turning that off.
Personal journal. No peeking. A room of one's own. While desperately hunting the waste for food and water, I stumbled across this decrepit building. Hubris Comics must have been quite a sight to see before the war. Imaginations whirling and spinning, the hum of machinery, the excitement as the latest adventure was committed to paper. Though, it is a bit of a wonder that anyone could stir up much creativity with this decor. Frankly, it's downright depressing. I suppose the wandering ghouls that infest this place don't care much about bright color schemes or comforting pastels. They're a bit more interested in the taste of warm flesh. Thankfully, they're not very observant. I've spent enough time working on moving without noise to slip past those unfortunates with minimal disturbance. I found this curious little room in the back of the building. It was locked, but I was able to gain access through the terminal near the door. To my astonishment, it appeared that the room had been largely spared of the ravages of the war. After a few hours spent tidying and cleaning, I had a comfortable, more or less livable place to rest and eat. Over the past few days, I've carried or dragged some additions to make the place more comfortable. The mattresses proved to be the greatest challenge. One of those terrible ghouls heard me while I was struggling with the mattress. It let out one of those dreadful hisses and started towards me. Not knowing what to do, I quickly pulled the mattress upright and stayed behind it as still and as quiet as a dead Brahmin. The beast ran up to me, sniffed the mattress. I could hear its labored breathing and imagined its puzzlement. It reached out and touched the mattress, tracing a broken, twisted finger over the surface with surprising gentleness. It made a noise that sounded for all the world like a choked sob forced through a throat long since gutted by damages wrought by radiation and sickness. It suddenly turned and ran, skittering and crawling on all fours, lost again to the madness that had claimed it. Was it the feel of the soft mattress that sparked a wisp of a memory left within its rotted brain? A fragment, a momentary flash of recollection of a time when it slept in safety and dreamt? I choked back a sob myself and carried the mattress back to my room.
Aw, this person seems to actually care.
I ran through the dusk-choked streets. By Santa's beard, I'm not sure who Santa was, but apparently he was a friendly, obese man that enjoyed delivering presents to children meeting certain behavior requirements before the war. I wonder if he survived the initial exchange. From the scattered accounts I've gathered of his life, he lived at the North Pole and employed an especially curious breed of reindeer, kind of like a big dog, as pack animals and transportation. I don't think there are any important targets there, so he may have fared better than most of us. Goodness, I'm rambling again. I tend to run off at the mouth a bit when I get excited. By Santa's beard, I made the most amazing discovery today. While hunting through some wrecked stores and dodging raiders and dogs, I found an art gallery. As expected, the paintings were all destroyed and wrecked, fabric rotted away, the hopes and dreams committed to canvas by paint long since fled. Except for one. In the back, buried under a heap of rubble, was a strange metal case. I worked for over 2 hours, digging, extracting, slowly working the heavy case from its final resting place. It was a sealed case and appeared to have suffered no ill effects from the building's collapse, except for a small dent on one corner. I searched for a means of entry, but couldn't find a visible latch or button. The cold metal felt good to the touch. It was refreshing to find something not caked with dust or damaged beyond recognition. Finally, my fingers located a small inset lever. I pulled the lever, and there was a sharp hiss from the case. I immediately backed away, covering my face, in case I'd accidentally triggered some sort of trap. When nothing exploded or showered me with acid, I hesitantly peeked between my fingers. The case had opened, and the hiss must have been escaping air. Perhaps whatever was in the case had been sealed against the elements before the war. I crept toward the case and took a look inside. Almost immediately I burst into tears. There before me was something completely untouched, undamaged, bursting with colors and life. It was a painting, without a mark, without a crack, without rot and ruin and death. I should have sealed it back up. I should have sealed it back up and hidden it, so that it might be preserved. But I could not. I closed the lid, and the latch snapped shut with a soft click that echoed through the dust-choked air with perfect clarity. I knew what I must do. Wrestling with the heavy case, I found a strength that I had not felt for years. Though the case must have weighed 75 pounds, it felt like a feather as I ran through the streets, panting, laughing, dodging into shadows and back out into the sun, racing home with my prize. Home. I guess that's why I've started to think of this place. This wonderful little place, hidden in a maze or a terrible beast in the belly of a broken, decaying building. This place now home to what is most likely one of the few things of pure beauty to escape the horrors of the war. Pure and clean and beautiful and bursting with life and color. I have given it a new home. My home.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'm so glad they found that painting. It is really beautiful.
The journey. It has been 2 weeks since I made this little room my home. I've managed to stock this place with food, water, and a number of books. Oh, the books. Though most are ruined and so much molded paper, I've pieced together fragments of stories, glimpses of people and lives before the great dark bombs wiped such things from this earth and gave us the beasts that slaver and paw outside. My books, my beloved books, now worthless to me, taken from me by a horrible tragedy. Though my eyesight is keener than most when scanning the horizon, long tuned for assessing possible threats from a distance, I am a complete loss when trying to read without my special glasses. Shapes blur and swim before me, and a headache grows within seconds if I try to read without them. I'm not sure where I first acquired them. I can never remember a time without them. Perhaps my mother or father gave them to me before the waste claimed them. I do not know, and likely never will know. To my great fortune, my eyesight never worsened as I grew up. The glasses were a blessing that permitted me to gain insight and learn, to develop the skills to repair, to engineer, to read. They were my trusted companion. Sliding them on was like shaking the hand of an old friend, instantly comfortable, familiar, and now they are gone. Yesterday I was foolish. It was a particularly lovely evening. Radiation levels were low, the wind had subsided, and the dust had settled back to the streets. I brought one of the rare treats with me, a bag of Captain Stinky's dill pickle flavored beef jerky, and perched on a rock overlooking the river, enjoying the light breeze. I had, of course, scouted the area first, looking for signs of mutants or raiders. I'd found 4 intact pages from an old repair manual, and I was prepared to drink in every sentence and enjoy myself. Everything looked clear. About halfway through my bag of jerky, I heard a sharp report. and my glasses ripped away from my face, disintegrating in a powder of plastic and glass. I let out a scream and dropped to my belly, edging off the rock. More shots rang out, and I heard laughter between the shots. Peering around the edge of the rock, I saw a lone raider approaching me, rifle in hand, casting in my direction the usual cacophony of poorly framed insults and obscenities. I may not have mentioned this in my entries before, but I've adopted a stance of extreme pacifism. So much life was lost to the war, and the subsequent horrors that I've made it my mission to avoid from taking a life in situations where any other opportunity presents itself, regardless of personal convenience. I could very well have turned and run, slinking from shadow to shadow, outrunning and outmaneuvering my pursuer. I am lithe and quick and can vanish into a crack without a whisper. That's how I've survived by myself for so long. I did not. Never had I felt so consumed with rage. My link to civilization, my beloved friend, taken from me in an instant. So many hours of cleaning and small repairs and careful packing for excursions. Gone, wasted, ruined, just like this world. Dust and debris. I turned. I have an old .32 pistol I've used when food supplies run low, taking meat from mole rats or dogs only when I was so weakened by hunger that I had no choice. I did not draw my pistol. I have a hunting rifle, battered but serviceable, with a round in the chamber. I've mainly used it for scaring away raiders and dogs when they've gone too close for comfort during a food gathering trip. I did not draw my rifle. I also have a knife, a cruel sharp thing with a serrated blade that has served me well in cutting up mole rat meat for meals. I keep it with me at all times, and it's been nearly as close a friend to me as my glasses. I've repaired things with it. I built things with it, even cut myself loose from tangles or wires with it. I drew my knife. Rising from behind the rock, I screamed, something old and full of rage, and something that I hope I never hear again. I ran, not from the raider, but toward the raider, racing, closing the distance between us, snarling all rage, no better than the ghouls that infest the hallways near my home. The raider was obviously startled and nearly dropped his rifle. Eyes wide, he tried to chamber another round, fumbled, lost it. I could hear it bouncing on the rocks. It was then that I was upon him. I leapt, crashing into him, knocking him to the ground. I pinned his arms and screamed. Oh, how I screamed. Right into his face. You have stolen something from me. Each word was punctuated with the knife. I crawled from the body, my throat hoarse, tears streaming down my face, mixing with his blood. Blood and tears. That's all this world is now. Blood and tears. This morning I awoke and weighed my options. I could sit here amongst these books, skulking through the trash like a beast, unable to read them, unable to do the things that keep me sane. Or I could head out there, leaving my home, my shelter, and head into the wastes. I could leave this place of relatively safety on a fool's errand, hunting for something that may not even exist anymore, traveling without the ability to repair my equipment thanks to my loss. Foolishness. Idiocy. I rose. There is so much to pack.
Wow, I feel so bad for them. They have such trouble seeing. What were they going to do stuck in here? I hope they made it out there. I respect their pacifism, but I don't blame them for killing that raider. I really hope they were able to find something to replace their glasses. I'm sure they have to spend a lot of time out there to find something like that. Maybe they made their way to Rivet City and were able to get something from the merchants. I don't know. I just hope they're okay now. Wow. Yeah, the painting was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, if I'm really going to do this, I need to make sure that I'm ready. Tucked into my trusty backpack. 3 purified water, 1 knife, 1 .32 pistol, 1 broken down .32 rifle, thank goodness for collapsible stocks, 16 rounds of .32 caliber ammunition, 3 Salisbury steaks, 1 pork and beans heavy, 1 Cap'n stinky dill pickle flavored beef jerky, 2 stim packs, 1 medical brace, 1 scissors, 1 forceps, 1 change of clothes, 1 box of matches, 1 towel, 2 tin cans, 1 clipboard, 3 blank sheets of paper, nice find, 2 pencils, 1 small cooking pot, 1 spoon, 1 fork. It's about all I can fit in there without slowing me down too much. I'm not sure when I'll be back, but I've engineered a little surprise for any raider that gets too close. I found some old voice recording equipment and was able to work it into a semblance of a security system. I still am not sure how I managed to get that pitching machine wrestled in here. I guess necessity is the mother of invention and all of that jazz. With any luck, it will scare off anyone that manages to get through the ghouls and hack the door system. I don't expect that to happen, but it's better to be safe than sorry. I've been tinkering with this odd device that I found for a while now. It was packed in a sturdy metal crate and locked with a complex electronic lock. It was inside an armored delivery truck. Thankfully, moisture had seeped in over the years and damaged both the truck's door locks and killed the battery on the electronic lock. I was able to knock the truck's door off its hinges with a tire iron and some good old-fashioned elbow grease. There wasn't much of interest inside the truck except for the contents of the crate, a miniature telecom tower, and this odd round device. The manifest inside the box stated that it was a new module for the MTS-400, whatever that is. Apparently the project was a joint effort between Robco Industries and Manchester Mine, some sort of personal defense device. I managed to connect the tower to the device, but I think I must have shorted something out. The tower hummed to life for about 30 seconds, then sparks started flying from the round device. There was also some foul-smelling smoke rising from the center of the round thing. I don't think it's damaged the tower, but it seems to have done a number on the device. Oops. This morning, as I was getting ready to leave, I took another look at my blunder. This is a rather fascinating device. I think I'm going to change directions a bit. Instead of heading straight into DC to try and find some new glasses, I think I'm going to take a detour and head to the delivery address I found in the manifest. Who knows, maybe I'll run across some glasses there and not have to risk my life out in the hollowed out mutant-packed ruins of DC. At the very least, perhaps I can get some information on this MTS-400.
Oh, Manchester Mine. I remember hearing about that. I'll definitely have to check it out sometime. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah, it's definitely broken. I don't think there's anything I could do with it. Actual toilet paper? Wow.
This place holds more mysteries than I originally expected. I wonder if the original owner/builder planned to use this place as a fallout shelter? If that was the case, there certainly were some unusual design decisions. A lot of the space doesn't seem to be maximized for efficiency. Take the lovely little room next to the bathroom, for instance. Yes, there's some storage here, but the room almost seems designed for another purpose. The single chair, the speakers, this looks more like a room intended for simple relaxation. It must have been the Hubris Comics director, or some other member of management. I can't imagine any other reason the company would permit the construction of such an unusual area in the building. If that wasn't enough, there's also a hatch running a considerable distance underground and terminating quite a distance away from the main building. That must have cost a fortune to build. Thankfully, there's a nice sturdy door in front of the hatch, so I'll be able to have an extra layer of security when I leave. I've also covered the exit hatch at the other end of the tunnel. If you didn't know it was there, I wouldn't think you'd be able to find it. Pretty sneaky if I do say so myself.
Oh, another painting. This must be the hatch they were talking about. Heh.
Keep out! There are monsters here. Run! This hatch looks like it's been recently used. It leads to a long, dark, cramped tunnel, which ends in a grate that's been well concealed with dirt. You can use this hatch to travel quickly back and forth between Hubris comics.
Well, that'll be useful for getting in and out of the city, but I think I'm good for now. I'm gonna look around here more. More pitching machines. Oh, this was where that guy was. Ah, I'm so sorry. I don't know why you were shooting at me. Ugh, God. Why'd you have to just shoot at me like you were mad? Yeah, I definitely think this person took up residence here after the other guy left, because he seemed to shoot just fine without glasses. Oh, so this was why the press was dangerous. Wow, this must have been a really awful job. Oh, hi, who are you?
Give me one reason why I shouldn't kill you.
I like comics. Do you like comics? Is that why you're here? Who are you supposed to be, anyway?
I've been teased all my life because of my mutant face. Even my name's a joke. Again, give me a reason not to kill you.
It's not your appearance that matters, it's what's on the inside, in your heart.
What? Thank you.
Why don't you come with me? I'll make sure no one ever teases you again.
Yeah, okay. Anything to get away from this borehole.
For what it's worth, you definitely have a rockin' bod.
What can I do you for, boss? Creator Site Supply Job Application. Pork chops. Creator Site Supply Job Application. Available work. Help me do some research for my book. Should be easy peasy. Totally safe. Job applicant? Pork chops. Alias. The Fish Lady. Tell us about yourself. Mom was taking a lot of the jets, and no one knew. After the teasing became too much, I just withdrew. I snuck about, picking locks. Not as well as that Bob creep, but I get by. When I left the vault, I checked out Hubris comics and gave myself a makeover based on that nemesis of Captain Cosmos the Jester. I was no longer a fish-necked weirdo. I was a green-haired psycho with a plasma rifle. I made it a point to find every single Teddy I could in case one of them was my old Ted who saw me for who I was. Why do you want this job? You got something I can do with high-tech gadgets? I don't want to talk to people if I don't have to. Creator Site Supply owner Moira Brown. Last update, yet to return. Don't worry, I got the best thing for you. Could you go meet those Outcast Brotherhood guys and report back?
Oh, you're from a vault, and you're one of the people Moira sent out. Well, of course you are. Well, stick with us. We've got a few vault dwellers in our group.